Articulation Radio. Articulation. Salutations! Welcome to another exciting episode of Articulation Radio. I am your hostess, the eternally grateful Goddess Sage. You know how we do things here at Articulation Radio. We will kick off the top of the day's episode by taking a quick glance at the news headlines. And today's news segment is sponsored by bepublished.org.
These are three of the news headlines and events I saw today, Friday, May 7th, 2021, when visiting EliteValuesNews.com. The Writers Consortium is offering small business startups a discount on business plans and grant proposals through the end of May 2021 via their website, writersconsortium.us. That's www.writersconsortium.us. Bougie Connoisseur is seeking investors for their new build with both a $5,000 buy-in and a $10,000 buy-in option via www.regalcity.xyz. And it's the Washington Capitals versus the Philadelphia Flyers today starting at noon at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Those are three of the news headlines and events I saw when visiting EliteValuesNews.com on your behalf. Be sure to check us out every hour on the hour, any minute within that hour, because as you know, so much happens, and we make it a point to keep you abreast of as much as possible as we can in every single category. There are multiples. Check them out any chance you get, and every moment you want to know what's happening anywhere in this world. EliteValuesNews.com. I am Joaquin Mann reporting live on your behalf.
Looking for the latest news? Visit Elite Values News. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines hourly. EliteValuesNews.com. Visit now.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. Bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music.
Listeners, we love you. We hear you. And I am definitely happy to be here with you again today on this episode of Articulation Radio, where you will not only hear wonderful music from independent artists from around the world, you will also get the chance to hear me talk to a move maker, a doer, and I'm not going to tell you with whom I'll be speaking or about what we'll be discussing, but stay tuned.
wish I'd forget you, but you're here to stay. It seems I met you when my love went away. Now every day I start by saying to you, good morning, heartache, what is new? Stop haunting me now. Can't shake you, know how. Just leave me alone. I've got those Monday blues straight through Sunday blues. Good morning, heartache. Here we go again, again. Good morning, heartache. You're the one who knew me well. Might as well get used to you hanging around. Never. So good morning, heartache. Do sit down. Have tea with me, but do go, please.
ArtistReview.com. All artists need a platform. The Artist Review makes sure you have the one you need to put your work in front of your fans. ArtistReview.com. Artist, REVUE.com.
Why won't they let us live?
peoplewarmer.com. Book your travel today. peoplewarmer.com for wherever you want to stay. peoplewarmer.com, wherever you want to play.
You have a product? Let them help you increase sales. You have a video? Let them help you make it go viral. Peoplewarmers.com. peoplewarmers.com.
Today's episode of Articulation Radio was kicked off with Good Morning Heartache by yours truly, Goddess Sage. And after that, you heard Let Us Live by Myron Mills. Now, before I play Right or Wrong by his grandson, Mega Matt, I am going to tell you a little bit about the reason why today's show is titled Diminutive Yet Determined. And not only will I tell you, eventually, I'm going to tell you who I'll be interviewing because, it is so juicy. But I want to kind of drag it out, But yeah, I do want to, at least for right now, let you know real quickly. Even if you feel like you're small or people are making you small or that they're overlooking your contributions, do not give up your determination. Do not compromise the commitment that you've made to excellence for yourself and to achieve those goals that you have in mind. So make it a point to do whatever it is that you have to do to remain determined, even if people block you, even if people deter you, whatever it is, even if you need to come up with new ways to fulfill your dream, make sure it happens. No matter how you feel you're not in a position of power, find a way to empower yourself. Don't have it to where you just stay so small and you continue getting smaller and smaller and disappear. Have it to where you take a stand and then you fortify yourself and then you grow from there. Be sure that your true heart and your true mind and your true will is what is actually reflected. And that is to thrive and survive. So, no matter what goes on, no matter how you may be made small or feel small, make sure that you remain determined and make sure that you go after what you have to go after and do what you need to do. That is the right thing to do and do it the right way the first time around. But of course, I will be interviewing someone who has done that very thing, like all of his adult life, that, most of his adult life, because we know no one's perfect. But I will be interviewing Mr. Norman Schwartz. And some of you, just by my mentioning that name, Norman Schwartz, you're like, wait, I know that name. And yes, you do know that name, because not only is Mr. Norman Schwartz the author of All Things Small, this senior has, and people, when I tell you, I'm not going to get into, I'm going to save that for the interview because I have the interview. But people, when I tell you that Mr. Schwartz is an award-winning filmmaker, a living legend when it comes to films. And when you find out the film, you're going to be like, that's either a film you've watched and loved or something someone you know and love. Baby, okay. So anyway, to not give away too much, I'm going to be bringing on the interview shortly with Mr. Norman Schwartz. And we are so thankful to have him in the house. But of course, before I bring on that interview, I'm going to go ahead and play for you. And we're going to talk about this book. But in the meantime, head over to Amazon. Go to Amazon.com or any bookstore, even the bookstore, your favorite bookstore in your neighborhood, and ask for All Things Small by Norman Schwartz. All Things Small by Norman Schwartz, Schwartz. And yes, you've seen that name. It's just burned on your brain, right? But we'll explain later. But you probably already know. But yeah, go to Amazon, grab up Norman's book, all right? All Things Small by Norman Schwartz. And I'm going to go ahead and play for you Right or Wrong by Mega Matt. And then we're going to bring on the author and legendary award-winning filmmaker for you. How about that?
Are you looking for grant writers, technical writers, creative writers, academic writers, any kind of writers? Head to the Writers Consortium. Their website, writersconsortium.us, www.writersconsortium.us, the Writers Consortium, writersconsortium.us, for all of your writing needs. Think of it, they can produce it for you. They are the ghostwriters to the top people.
You are listening to Articulation Radio. Head on over to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts.
Phone lines are open right now at Articulation Radio. Call 312-899-6237. That's 312-899-6237.
Have you always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Need help building a website? Contact The Conglomerate 972-880-8316 or visit theconglomerate.work. TheConglomerate.work. Theconglomerate.work 972-880-8316. Start your new business today.
Sully.
And I was all alone. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a minute, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a minute, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting. You chose the other side. We came out through some situations, but you skated right. Some shit'll never be the same, won't let it hurt my pride. And I'm so solid with my niggas, we can't fold on nines. Just tryna make it through the day, I grip that 40 tight. I can't get caught up through the night, my bro, he lost his fight. And I can't hear the conversations, cause they burnt the vibe. It's no debate, it's no relation, cause I stand on mine. I'm sipping Julio, I think it's time I lay it down. I see my ops and best believe that I'ma spin around. Steady whipping, they be acting, please go take a bow. Know you really wasn't for me, man, don't change it now. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a movie, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a movie, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting. The love built through the mud ties. It's no need for discussions. We burn them down with their rushes. They with that noise, no percussions. I keep my distance from drama. Fly to stay from up under. All the hate beneath me do this for Zay. Know you see me in all the way. You look through me. Wish I could change the things truly, but this the life that I live. It's so hard to forgive. I'm still just taking it in. No, we started as friends, but it was deep from begin. Bro was weighing it in, and now he home from the yard. They can say I'm a sellout, cause I'm a ride for my squad. Yeah, we know he a fraud. Do it all for attention. Niggas running, chasing clout, but claim they driving in Benzes. I can't phone not to mention. She know I love her demeanor. I embrace all her flaws. You know I like me a diva. I lit the wet, but I'm told and I sip the deuce, moving slowly. And I can never change focus. And right or wrong, I'm all on it. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a movie, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting. Whether right or wrong, you know I'm with you, I got you, man, we gon' make it home. I seen a movie, they watch it, ain't no breaking or stopping. I made a bag off the profit, I keep my blickers, they plotting.
If you'd like more information on how you can be an eyelash artist, call us at 314-560-1641 or 888-585-LASH, LashingOutLoudInc.com.
Articulation Radio is beyond ecstatic to have on the line with us today Mr. Norman Schwartz. And some of you people, when you hear the name Norman Schwartz or you see the name Norman B. Schwartz, you're like, that's familiar. I know that name, I believe. And yes, you do know that name. Not only is Mr. Schwartz the author of All Things Small, which we will be talking to him about, he's also the author of a couple of other works as well. And you probably already know him from a lot of his work that he's done with movies, as well as, of course, all of those extra film credits that you've sat there and you've seen that name a million times, so that's why he's burned into your brain. So, people, we have Mr. Norman Schwartz on the line. Mr. Norman, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, sir. And, of course, we here at Articulation Radio are extremely happy to have you here. And first of all, I want to, before I get into anything else, I would first like to congratulate you on being a living legend. I know a lot of people who are artists and creative people, you already know from the moment you create a piece of art, you're automatically an immortal. But definitely to have it to where you are able to have your peers and your colleagues to acknowledge your work, I definitely do want to congratulate you on, I would say, making history by becoming the first ever ADR sound editor and director that was admitted to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Congratulations on such a big feat.
True enough.
Yes,
A long time ago, yes.
Yes, and that was from all of this work that you've done because, of course, now, first, let's start off and talk about your work, your books that you have now. I was told that you have 3 comic novels that are already out, and All Things Small is your most recent one, but that prior to that, you published Dawn 1 in Space, as well as Hollywood Below and Beyond, and they both are comic novels. So first, tell us a bit about how you, went from doing, I would say, your work with the scores and your work with the movies to your actually writing comic novels. So tell us about your transition from your screen work to your literary work.
Well, if you want to make a movie, you need millions of dollars. If you want to do a play or direct a play, as I did for many years, you need much less. But the wonderful thing about being a novelist is all you need is your computer, a chair and a table, and your imagination. So it seems to me the freest form of expression that I know of is to sit down and write a book. A book is yours.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It truly does give you that freedom because even with talking, people say, well, no, nothing's more free than talking because you can just say what you want to say. But with that, there's an exchange that's inherent in that. The person has to listen. You have to give them a chance to respond. And a lot of times, no matter how bold or courageous someone is, if they are a person who cares about others, you can't help but consider people's feelings. And within that consideration naturally comes restrictions on your own expressions because you don't want to offend or, isolate or things like that. But definitely when you're just putting it on paper, you have that total freedom of just getting it out the way you feel it, the way you think it, the way you want to say it. And you don't have to wait for someone else to respond to it or anything. No, it's just all about you're just getting it out. And that in itself does not only allow for the truest expression and most honest expression, but to me, that's also the way that we know we're getting true history. Anything else,
exactly.
And that's why I even love poetry. Yeah, it's uninhibited.
No, the interesting thing is, if you're going to express yourself as you so well describe it, what you feel, what you see, well, you should be able to do it. But of course, in the marketplace, people might say, yes, it's very interesting what you want to say, but I don't think anyone's going to buy it. And the difference about the great form of the novel is that it's a minor investment, depending on how much money people give you. You're free to say something, and you're free to find a publisher, as I've been so lucky to have found in Cresting Wave, that says, yes, let's take a chance on this. When you have to spend $200 million to make a film, well, people are going to be very cautious. And the novel is still a very personal form of expression in the sense of say what you feel, and maybe somebody else will feel the same way, and somebody else will buy the book. That's why the novel survives.
Yes. And let's talk about All Things Small. I love that title, and I'm sure that a lot of people instantly come up to you, and when they mention it, they talk about how that made them feel a certain way or caught their attention because of a certain thing. But honestly, it was a breath of fresh air because, here in this world where it's all about all things big and gaudy and gaudy and loud, and, it's nice to have things small and nice to, I would say appreciate the distinction that comes within being diminutive. And so I want you to just tell us a little bit about how you came about that title and what the work covers for them. And I have a little summary that I kind of want to read to them about the juicy bits. But, what was your inspiration behind it?
Well, as I'm a comic novelist, when I say comic, it's a view of the world. I don't see people as being heroic, and I don't see people as naturally being tragic. I see that we are a species in evolution. We have a very overinflated view of ourselves, but if we look at the history of humanity, the things that we have accomplished, it seems to me that it's taken a long time, and they're very often very small steps. And what interested me and amused me as a writer was to look back at the life of a human being and say, what were the eventful moments in the life of my character? What happened to him or her that changed him or her? In my case, him, of course. And I thought they were all things small, things that at the moment my protagonist did not perceive. But if he or she looks back after a lifetime of experience, would say, that's how it all came about. When we're living this, we don't see that the tiny steps, the little steps, are the things that change us. And that's what I set out to write about in a comic or humorous way.
Oh, beautiful. And for those of you who are just tuning in, now you're listening to Articulation Radio, and we are actually on this tail end of the interview with Mr. Norman B. Schwartz. He is not only the author of the comic novel All Things Small, he has also written Done One in Space, as well as Hollywood Below and Beyond. And now let's talk a little bit about how a lot of people are still like, yeah, but talk about his work in Hollywood because I know him. And yes, you do, people. Of course, now, we had already mentioned, now, for some of you who may not know, Mr. Schwartz now lives in Madrid, Spain. He's been living there for a few decades now. And he, as far as his work here in the U.S. and with Hollywood, that some of you are like, I know this man. It's because, of course, in the late 1950s, Mr. Schwartz was working as an assistant film editor at Columbia Pictures in Hollywood. And, of course, he worked on a number of productions there. And when he left the States and, of course, headed there to Rome, then he stayed there for some years and, of course, learned to speak Italian and everything. And then, of course, in Italy, he worked on Jason and the Argonauts. And I know a lot of you guys are like, not the classic, the Dynamation classic. Yes, Ray Harryhausen's Dynamation classic, Jason and the Argonauts, that came out in 1963. Yes, Mr. Schwartz was one of the people who worked on that. And, of course, in the 1970s, he returned to Hollywood and eventually collaborated on the soundtrack of such Oscar-winning feature films as The Exorcist and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And he, of course, as you all know, became the first ADR sound editor and director that was ever admitted to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And he has also taught writing, directing, and acting for more than 20 years, not only in the United States, but also in France, Spain, Italy, Hungary, Nigeria, and the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Now, but people, I want to be sure to squeeze this in because I know a lot of you are like, look, we know how to do the books. People are always coming out with books. We know how to do the music. People are always coming out with music, but we would love to get any tips he has for us who want to do our movies because those are few and far between, and I've been wanting to do this movie, blah, blah, blah. So, Mr. Schwartz, what tips do you have for the listeners who decide that they want to do what you do? And I would say not only with the movies, what tips do you have for those who would like to create their own feature film and release it, but also what tips do you have for people who do want to delve into all the other creative things but just seem to think that they're too busy to do it? Like, how are you able to put out your books and do all your stuff? So, yeah, let them know any tips you can so that they can try to achieve some of the things you have.
Well, it seems to me that Though I've taught for 20 years, as a teacher, I feel there's only a limited amount of what you can teach. You can teach people the grammar of making films, the grammar of writing in English, but it seems to me that the way we learn is to study the great masters, to look at the films or the plays or the novels that we admire and study them and say, what is it that they do that no one else is to do? And in all honesty, steal as much of it as we can without anybody detecting that we've stolen it. So in other words, study and steal is my advice. Have I lost you?
Yes. And what about those who are like, I've done that, I've invested, it takes a lot, but I can't feel it soaking in, or everyone I try, they turn me down, and I'm just discouraged. What would you say to encourage them?
Well, the point is, again, as I've learned since I started writing seriously, is you must understand that most people who judge your work are not judging your work on its literary or artistic value. They're judging it on what they perceive the market is buying. So it could be, or it might be, or shall I say it surely is, that if you're doing something that is not currently considered to be marketable, most of the gatekeepers will not be interested. So the important thing is to say, I've got a story to tell. I've got something that people would be worth listening to, and I have to keep trying until somebody says, that might sell. It has nothing to do with what your ability, it has to do with the marketplace. And for those people who sincerely are wishing to express themselves and are constantly being rejected, I can only say, don't give up. Believe in what you have to say and hope that somebody will agree with you. And when I say agree with you, it means I like what you're doing, but I believe I can make some money selling what you believe in. And that's really what today's market is all about.
That is love, people. That is love. That's plenty of help. No excuses, people. No excuses. Now, Mr. Schwartz, my very last question to you. What is there that you've not had a chance to say to the listeners of Articulation Radio that you would like to be sure to let them know? And before he tells you, people, if you haven't already done so, head over to Amazon.com right now and grab up your copy of All Things Small by Norman B. Schwartz. Okay? And so now, Mr. Schwartz, what would you like to let the listeners know that you've not yet had a chance to share?
Well, let me say this. Believe in what you've lived. Believe in what you wish to tell people. And believe that in this marketplace, which the marketplace of the arts, where you're being judged by the potential of making a lot of money or not making any money, that what you have to say, what you have to give is worthy of being expressed. And if you believe in that, and if you believe in the value of what you feel, and if you've done it with any skill and perhaps with artistry, I sincerely believe that somewhere along the line, someone is going to say, I will invest in this property. That's all I can say. It's been my good luck with Cresting Wave Publishing, and I hope it will be the good luck of anyone who's listening to your program today. Don't give up.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, and so encouraging. And let me ask you real quick. Now, I've already told them I know about the Amazon, where they can not only grab up All Things Small but they can also even get your Done One in space as well as Hollywood Below and Beyond. But do you have your own website that they can go to where they can not only experience your literary work, but also, of course, be able to have a clearinghouse where they can grab your other works as well?
Not at the present moment. Not at the present moment.
So very good. So listeners, you already know to keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Okay, it gives you something else to look forward to. And do you have any virtual events or anything like that on the horizon for them?
Not at the present moment. I am terribly focused on the second job that any writer has.
Yes.
That's convincing people to read what you've done. We live in a very interesting world, you know, which is marketing is as an essential part of being a published writer or a painter or a composer as the creative process itself. So I would say to all of your wonderful listeners, you know, remember that it's just more than creation, it's selling. And if you're not able to do that, please find somebody who can do it for you.
Yes, sir. And people, you all know that is great advice because after all, you know, the whole point of creating something or publishing something is so other people can access it. And the only way that people can know something exists is you got to tell them. And the only way for you to tell them is you have to be able to reach them where they are, and that includes marketing, advertising, promotions. You can't get around that, people. You can't. And do not let this great advice that you've heard fall on deaf ears. Take action and go ahead and materialize your dreams, too. And we so thank you so much, Mr. Norman B. Schwartz, for coming on to Articulation Radio. I got it, Sage, have enjoyed my time with you today, and I definitely want to let you know you are welcome back here at any time you please.
Delighted to be back.
Would you like a motivational speaker to come to your company or organization to speak to your group? Visit lifespurposeministries.com. That's lifespurposeministries.com.
You just heard Don't Care One by Jonathan Yarpahag, and up next is My Favorite Weakness by Erica Johnson, followed by Had Enough by Kelly Engstrom featuring Jimmy Burney.
Do you frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Join the club, JeffersonTaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers the best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, JeffersonTaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today. JeffersonTaylor.club.
Articulation Radio, thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you.
I can't go on pretending I don't care. I can't go on pretending I don't care. But I'm trying to do the best I can. Try to do the best I can. Oh, try to do the best I can. I'm human and flawed, but I can't cut it all. So instead I blush until I've had enough. You see right through me, you see. Such a shame for you, all my secrets are free. And I just wanna learn yours and absorb everything you mean. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. You're making me weak. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak. You expect me to keep my composure and my exposure and on my toes, but I'm too vulnerable to disregard the danger of the deepest part of you. Oh, be merciful. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak. I can't sleep. Oh, so deep. It's making me weak. It's so sweet. I can't think. Incomplete. It's making me weak. I can't eat. I can't sleep. It's so deep. Making me weak. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak. I can't go on pretending I don't care. Please forgive me. Making me weak.
Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz.
And every single pic, I see that posing chick, trying to ignore it, but I just can't help, I'm feeling sick. She's boarding private jets, but I try to forget. I can't undo it, can't erase the day we met. time I try, need to know how to finally caught your bluff. Enough. Oh, enough. Every Insta flick, she's hanging with her clique. I try to block her, but sometimes I'm weak and look at it. The smoking mirror life, she's getting high on lights. Couldn't offer her them things, I'm not that type. No. Used to call you mine. I'm the one who got your back. It won't help this time. I guess I've had enough. Turn it off, baby, bye, bye, bye. Guess I've had enough. After all, trying to make it right. Guess I've had it, done it. Every time I try, need to know how to finally caught your bluff. Enough. Oh, enough. I believed in love, but you're impossible, so impossible. And somewhere you lost my heart, you're so trustable. You gotta listen, girl. I guess I've had enough, turn it off, baby, bye, bye, bye. Yes, I've had enough, after all, trying to make it right. Yes, I've had it, done it, every time I try to know how to finally caught your bluff. Enough. Oh, enough. Enough. Oh, enough. Enough.
Are you single and seeking a lifestyle club that's centered around you? Go to sittingroom.xyz to register today. Sittingroom.xyz, where sexy singles socialize. Get merchandise and event invites by joining us at sittingroom.xyz today.
Weddings are expensive, but your love is worth it. Go to marryusnow.us to book the Minister of Love to officiate your wedding today. The fee is only $200 if your wedding is in the city of Chicago, and there's only a small fee to get the Minister of Love to travel outside of Chicago to your wedding location. Book the Minister of Love today. Visit marryusnow.us. That's marryusnow.us.
Why does it have to be? All good things must come to an end, and this is the end of this great episode of Articulation Radio, hosted by yours truly, Goddess Sage. I encourage you to not be a forgetful listener, to apply the wisdom that you've received today and take action and assist the cause that you heard about on today's episode, as well as be sure that you take action in your own life on fulfilling not only your own dreams, but also helping improve the lives of the people that you know. And as we always say here when we close out the day's episode, the staff here at Articulation Radio loves you. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you, talking to you, playing your music on an upcoming episode, as well as running your ad for your business or product on an upcoming episode of Articulation Radio. So be sure to head on over to articulationmedia.club right now. Re-listen to this episode, as well as listen to past episodes, and make sure that your ad is played and your songs are spun. In the meantime, you keep being a doer, keep being a move maker, and keep making things pop, baby. Articulation. 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 Articulation.